All right. Well, so good to see all of you here, except that you're not here, you are there. So we're doing it. We're social distancing, right? We're not doing this together. I've been 6 feet from Dustin and Marcus, so I think we're good to go. Hey, and don't worry, I've got my mask and I've got my coronavirus protection. And anyway, we're going to auction this off at some point, I guess, raise money for the church. I don't know. Anyway, have that available for you. There you go, Marcus. Hold on to that. It's great. It is great to be with you this morning in this kind of a way. I have to say, it's kind of hard for me to think about, well, first of all, when was the last time you thought about toilet paper so much anyway? That's a whole thing. Like, everybody's been thinking about it for the last week. Not since that burrito bar at El Camino's. Anyway, no, we're not talking about it. It's inappropriate. But anyway, so that, and then just the fact that you are wherever you are. I can't stop thinking about that. You're in your flannel pajamas, you're drinking coffee, you're at the lake, or you're at the beach, or you're as a family, like Dustin said, you're all huddled around a computer screen or a phone or whatever that is, and I think that that's awesome and great. But don't get too comfortable. We're going to be back here soon. So, because we want to see everybody back here whenever that is. And by the way, when will that be? We don't know yet. Tomorrow we're going to spend some time as a team making some decisions about next Sunday and Sundays following that. So you'll want to stay tuned and in touch with all of our communication opportunities. Obviously, Facebook would be good for you. If you know folks who are not on Facebook, please encourage them to get our weekly email. That's another great way just to keep in touch, find out what's going on. But we will let you know as soon as we know what we're going to be doing with that in the future. But it's so good that we can do this here. Let me just kind of give you a response and just some of the things about the coronavirus that we've been talking about. Number one, like why we're doing this in this way. Well, obviously, with state and local officials, they have been suggesting that folks don't gather in large gatherings, and so we totally want to respect that. We want to find a way to be a part of the solution. We don't want to add to the problem by having people together. We want to slow the spread, and really, by not being together and not gathering, maybe we'll even prevent that from being in our community. And if it does show up, maybe it'll just be isolated. So that's one reason why we're doing this way, is to just kind of work with our local officials. Also, we just want to care for people, people in our church, people in this community, especially our elderly folks, and then our young children, those who have compromised immune systems. We don't want to put them at any risk. We don't want to do anything that might accidentally do that. And so we definitely want to care for people during this process and make sure the people in our church and in our community are okay. Also, we want to be good neighbors and good citizens here as a church. We want to respect the people around us. We want to work hand in glove with our local officials and whatever they're asking us to do. And so we're doing that. Most churches are doing that as well. Everybody's trying to align themselves around that. And I want you to understand that we're doing this out of an abundance of caution. We're doing this out of a high level of responsibility because we are responsible for lots of people. We are not doing this out of fear. That is not why we're doing this. And I've been in touch with lots of pastors over the last several days. We've all been talking even in our community and around our area. And we've all struggled with the decision not to meet, because we see the church as a lighthouse, that we're the lighthouse in the storm. And just because the storm rages, we don't put out the lighthouse. And we are still doing that right now through technology. That's why we have Facebook Live. That's a beautiful thing about having developed that in such a way that we can use it so that the lighthouse is still burning, And so all pastors, all churches feel that way. We're not closed. The church is not closed. The church is open. We are still doing all that God is calling us to do. But also we have to use this brain that God gave us and make sure that we're doing our part to help each other through a time like this. So that's why we're doing that. Now, here's a few things. Folks have been asking, is there anything that we can do? And we know that there are people who are not going to be working. People are going to have some time over the next week or two or however long this goes. And they've been asking us. So here's a few things just to think about. Number one, support local businesses. We have folks in our church who own businesses here in this town. Some of them could suffer because of college students not being in town and lots of other reasons. So whatever you can do and however you feel a part of that, just please support our local businesses in this community. That would be a big help. Last night, also, I was talking to my neighbor, who is Martha Hink, who runs the East Alabama Food Bank, and we were just chatting, and I was asking her, I was just like, Martha, is there anything I can tell our church tomorrow that, people are going to be asking what they can do. Is there some way that we can help? And she said, yes. She said, actually, right now, we are short on volunteers at the food bank. Because the college students are not in town, many of them volunteer to get service hours, and they're not here, and so they're trying to figure out how they're going to have volunteers to come and sort food, and they're going to have a lot of food showing up because that's going to be a part of their support of our local community over the next several weeks. So I encourage you, please, if you're looking for something to do, go to the East Alabama Food Bank website. It is foodbankofeastalabama.com, foodbankofeastalabama.com. Go on there, on their homepage, there's a place that says volunteer, click on that, it'll take you to a calendar. You can literally look for the time and day that you want to serve, click on that, sign up, and you'll be good to go. So that's one way that you can help. She would love to see you show up there. Another thing that you can do is that they are in need of food, and she said specifically child-friendly food. Now, when I hear that, I think, oh, so they need Skittles and Oreos and SpaghettiOs. That's not what she was thinking of. She's probably thinking of something a little more healthy than that. So think about child-friendly food. Put that together in a bag or several bags. You can take that directly to the food bank, and they would be so grateful if you could do that, as we're also looking at ways to feed children in this community. She said also the community market, which is associated with the food bank, they're going to be in need of volunteers this week. Again, on the food bank website, you'll see community market. Call them first, and then ask them when you should come and volunteer over there. So those are just a few immediate ways that you can serve and participate and help. Now, some other things that I would encourage you to do. Pay attention to other people around you. Think about people like in your world who right now, for whatever reason, as a result of the situation we're in, that maybe they're in need. Maybe they need help with their children. Maybe they need food. Maybe they need financial assistance. Maybe they just need prayer and encouragement. I don't know what that would be, but I would just encourage you, please pay attention to the people around you, maybe even in your neighborhood. Why not just maybe go knock on a few doors and say, hey, my name is so-and-so, and I live right down the street. And if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. I'd be glad to do that. I think that would be great, and everybody would appreciate that. So think about something along those lines. We definitely need to be praying for people in all of the different situations right now. Those who are without work, those who may go without a paycheck, families and children, families who are trying to figure out what to do with children, our local and state officials, our government officials, our hospitals. There's so many people who are, by the hour having to figure out what to do next. So we want to pray for all of them as they do that.